Well, hi Andrea, what I'd like you to tell me about is Digitax HD. First of all, what is it?
From the beginning.
Absolutely from the beginning, yeah. Digitax HD, tell me about it.
Well, Digitax HD is our current generation of servo drives, and it is probably the most compact drive in its category. It is very high power density, and it is unique in the market in that it's a standalone drive, but with multi-axis capability. And what it means, well, it's shown very well in this demo we have here at SPS. This is a typical installation of Digitax HD. And you have your standalone drive with its typical features. It has an AC input, and then you control the drive, the motor, now even with single cable technology. But then you can use it as a modular system using the first drive to create the DC bus for a group of drives. So this, for instance, is an example of a power group of 10 drives, and they are all, as you can see, very easily connected through our multi-axis kit, which means you have bus bars connecting the DC bus here under these covers, and there is a bus bar also distributing the earth. So you only arrive here on the first drive with the AC input and the protective earth, and then everything is distributed across. And then you distribute the network, of course, but we also provide very convenient jumpers to distribute the 24 volt across the drives. And this really minimizes the complexity of the wiring. But then, again, the biggest selling point of this product is its size. It's the smallest drive in its category in the market.
So how wide is it?
It's just 40 millimeter wide, which means that, well, this is 10 drives, so it will be only 40 centimeters, and in 1 meter you can put up to 25 drives. Mm-hmm. But then we've also patented an innovative cooling system, which we call ultraflow, which allows you to send the heat to the back of the drive. So normally in a drive like this you have the vent in the bottom, the fan in the bottom, it draws up cold air, and then the air goes through the drive, cools the drive, and then you have warm air coming up on top of the drive. But if you have a very compact installation, and like here you need to put drives on 2 rows, then what happens is that you would have to leave a much bigger gap than you see here between the 2 rows of drives, because you don't want warm air to feed the cooling system of the drives above. Well, our ultraflow system allows you to push the air to the back of the cabinet, and if you look at this opening here on the side of this panel, you will see that you have all these ducts sending the air to the back. Well, then you can extract it with a fan, or you can even send it outside of the cabinet. And then this allows you to have a minimum 100 millimeter gap between the 2 rows of drives, making the size of your installation even more compact.
One thing I noticed about this drive, it says Digitax M753 EtherCAT. Is EtherCAT the only communications protocol you can use?
No, we have a very flexible solution. So we have different variants, first of all, of the product. You see here the M753 EtherCAT, which was the first variant that we launched, and this is very focused on what we call the centralized motion architectures, where all the motion control is usually in a central controller, and then we use the fast real-time EtherCAT network to connect the motion controller to the drives. But you can also have distributed motion architectures. As Control Techniques, we have a very long history of intelligence on board of the drive. You can really say we pioneered the intelligent drive in Control Techniques. And so we still have, of course, intelligence on board of the drive in our offering. And one example is the other variant that we present actually in this edition of SPS this year, 2018. which is the M750. The M750 is an Ethernet drive. It has on board our advanced motion controller that allows you to do point-to-point positioning with a very easy parameterizing interface, but also much more than that. You can do an electronic line shaft, synchronizing the drives over EtherCAT with our RTMOE, real-time motion over Ethernet, or you can do also cam profiles on the drive. But more than that, you have all this intelligence on the drive, but then you can easily connect the drive to a PLC to fit it in the ecosystem of the customer machine. So for instance, two of the most popular PLC architectures in Europe especially are Siemens and Rockwell. With these two names you cover more than 50% of the market. And with the M750 is a multi-protocol, we call it Ethernet drive, which means that on the same Ethernet interface you can have Ethernet IP and you can have Profinet. So you can fit in the most popular ecosystems. But if that is not enough, you can have the M751 version of the drive, which is, we call it the base drive, because it's meant, it has some basic functionality, it has a serial interface on the drive, and then it's meant to be expanded with the use of option modules. We have a full range of option modules covering a lot of field buses, also legacy field buses like Profibus, like DeviceNet, like CanOpen, and we're always adding to this list. We have, for instance, PowerLink in the pipeline coming in the future. We're always looking at new field buses to develop.